We are talking Dragon Age Redemption. We just finished watching the 3rd episode in the series. The 4th one's actually available today, but we haven't had a chance to get over to that yet. Yeah, so we're just going to be sharing our thoughts, kind of reviewing what we think of the first 3 episodes of the series, where we think it might be going, and yeah, just our general opinions.
Do you first want to give a recap of how this came about, what it is, and...
Electronic Arts and Bioware decided to create a web series about their popular video game universe, Dragon Age. So they got Felicia Day,
the queen of web series.
Yes, creator of the Guild. A very popular person in the geek community. So she both stars in it and like produces it.
And wrote it.
And wrote it, yeah. On the same day that the first episode was released, they also came out with a new Dragon Age Redemption DLC that features Tallis as like the main character in it.
Which is an awesome crossover. Cool. Yeah.
So Glenn, I know you've been a fan of the Dragon Age series.
But not since its 2nd installment.
So what did you think of Dragon Age Redemption?
I mean, it was better than I thought it would be. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it. There's just something about it. Like, it doesn't feel really like it fits within Dragon Age. It just feels kind of like a side web series someone made. I don't know.
That's a good point. So I mean, my whole thing coming into this was it being cool. Like, I'm not a fan of Dragon Age, so I was wondering for you as a fan of Dragon Age, like, how much does this actually feel like Dragon Age, or like a Dragon Age movie, or like the closest thing you could get to that?
I mean, Dragon Age for me, it's mostly about like big cities, like the city that they explore in Dragon Age 2. Although you're just stuck in the one city, the city is really cool. Like, it's kind of the focus of the game. And, like, you see one shot of it in the game, and the rest is all, like, in a nondescript forest. And, like, they have, like, one Qunari character in it who's the only one who looks different from any other fantasy genre world that you would see. I don't know, it just didn't quite feel the way I wanted it to. There's something that was a little bit off.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Like, just, yeah, and watching it, I did enjoy it, and, like, each episode it grew on me a little bit more. But, yeah, there is something, I can't put out words what it is.
Are you a fan of Dragon Age?
I am
series?
a huge fan of Dragon Age. I did enjoy number 2 a lot. So, yeah, I did quite enjoy the web series. There's something not quite right about it. I can't put my finger on what exactly it is. But I do like all the kind of references and just kind of, shout-outs to the video game universe. Like, there's one scene where, like, they're in a fight or whatever, and the mage guy, like, stuns 2 guys. Normally in any, like, if you're gonna make a video where a mage is fighting guys, what would you normally have them do? You'd be like throwing fireballs or lightning shoots. So this is really like, that's a direct link to abilities you use in the game and what magic is used for in the game.
See, I didn't like that part as much. Like, to me it felt kind of cheesy, because it's like, okay, he's stunned to the guys, and then at the end of the fight, it's like, oh, the stun wears off after 5 seconds, so now they're back in the fight. Yeah. Like, it seemed to stick too much to the game in that regard. I would like to see some, like, crazy magic stuff, but here it was just like, I'll use a stun spell.
Brett, do you have any thoughts on the first 3 episodes?
Yeah, so, I mean, Glenn, yeah, you saying, like, it feels like it really sticks to the game. For me, that's, like, the biggest fault I have with this, is that going into this, I was excited to be like, yeah, it's going to be a live-action video game, or it's going to make the video game live-action, but now I'm kind of disappointed now knowing that that's really all it is. I mean, this series really just feels like a cutscene to a video game. It really feels like all the stuff prior to playing, like, a game, or doing a quest, people like talking. It's really just, it's all that sort of like story stuff that I'm not really interested in. Like, what's fun is like playing the actual game. So for me, yeah, Aaron, you mentioned that you like all the references. For me, not being a fan of Dragon Age, I was really hoping that this would transcend and that I could just like the series, or maybe understand, like, or maybe this would get me excited about Dragon Age. It really feels like cheesy video game stuff. It doesn't feel like a very solid TV series or anything. It just really feels like someone making a very good, honest effort to stay true to the video game and make this series. I feel like it did that very well, and also like the production value in it, you have to appreciate. Like, the costumes are awesome, everything's awesome,
incredible.
Knowing that this is like how low budget this is not that big of a thing. Seeing them pull it off like this is awesome. But at the same time, in terms of video game web series, I can't help but think of Red vs. Blue, which, I mean, has, like, in its first seasons had 0 production value. It had nothing. But what Red vs. Blue did is like the way it commented on the video game and just the way it did stuff so, like, beyond is that it didn't need that. it just, like, Red vs. Blue is cool, like, it's its own thing. It's Halo, yes, but it's, like, its own thing. And this really does not feel like its own thing. It really just feels like it's only for fans of Dragon Age. It's only for people who want to see this realized, and it's cool that they did it, but it's not really doing anything for me.
It's like if you're not a fan and already know the universe and the lore, like you're not gonna get anything out of this.
Yeah, and even then, like, even if I was a fan of Dragon Age, I don't see what this would give to me. Like, I could only guess that this kind of feels like what the story of the game is, or for like a theoretical character, but just minus any of the gameplay. And that with these types of games, I don't really care about all that much, and especially with Dragon Age, which feels very generic anyway. There's nothing that special about it. It is just fantasy. So with that, yeah, I don't. If I don't get to see this like cutscene and then play a game, I don't get much enjoyment out of this.
Yeah, so I haven't tried Dragon Age 2. I got about 10 hours into Dragon Age 1.
That's solid.
And my favorite parts of that little bit that I played was just like the cutscenes and talking to people. And so I actually really liked how delightfully video gamey the first 3 episodes were.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are totally things like, is there a squad mechanic in...
Yeah,
so
that's what the game is, exactly.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, I'm sure I knew that when it first came out, but I totally, like, I didn't really know that. So seeing, like, yeah, there is actually very cool references, or not really references, but just the way it does, like, okay, you do this and I'll do this. Like, I can totally see, like, in the video game, how it would be like, okay, I, like, pause to, like, tell your squad mate, you do this spell, you do this spell. And so I can totally feel that, like, video game-ness, and also just in the way that, like, Episode 3 really feels like one of the first boss battles in a game, where if like Zelda or something, like the first time you like meet Ganondorf and he just like overpowers you or something, and you're just like, I'm useless against him. So I can see now that this series will basically be like, they've encountered him once and they realize he's too powerful, so now they have to like build up and stuff to like finally get him at the end. Like the final boss battle will be their victory.
And yeah, like Episode 2 where they visit the camp, it's totally like a video game area. Like, they go to this place and like talk to all the people, investigate the wagon thing, recruit the new friend, and move on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's fun seeing that it is like it's a video game.
Yeah,
like,
it is like a throw to all the game fans.
It's the video game.
Yeah, like it definitely makes me want to go back and play more Dragon Age, which is basically what EA wants. So in that way, they've succeeded. I don't know. You guys are all haters. I'm gonna continue watching this.
I'm not saying it's horrible. I don't hate it, for once. I don't hate something. I mean, it's good for what it is, but I never expected it was going to be something that was going to really draw me in.
And yeah, I mean, I was hoping for something where I would care about the adventure they're going on. I would care about each individual character. Problem is I don't, so that's my reason of not wanting to watch this. It's extremely well done, like, kudos for what they've accomplished, but it's just not a narrative story that I want to follow.
Yeah, so Dragon Age Redemption airs on Mondays on the
Still extremely worth
YouTube
checking
channel.
out.
Yeah, especially if you played Dragon Age, I think.
It is definitely tailored more towards people who are already in the universe. So.
Or if you enjoy watching Felicia Day run around with elf ears and revealing
cleavage.
costumes. Yes.